Hello and welcome to Netflix vs. Cinema, the podcast that tries to answer that question, should you go to the cinema or should you save your money and spend it on streaming platforms? My name is Tosin and I am the host up in a place in the middle of the country called Bromsgrove. And joining me, as always, on the Isle of Wight is Sharon Bollen.
Hello.
Because if she isn't on the Isle of Wight, she's not joining the podcast. And this week on the Isle of Wight is Shaun Harris.
Hello there. Hello.
Who might be in Isle of Wight, he might be in Bournemouth, he might be in Bangkok. It's a movable feast with Shaun.
I'm on the Isle of Wight at the moment.
Yes. All right. Cool. So this week, let's kick off. With what we do. You know, obviously we go to the cinema, rate things out of 5, put them up against things that we see at home, rate them out of 5, and see where money has been better spent this week. What have we seen in the cinema this week? Let us start with you, Shaun.
Okay. Well, I've only actually Wicked. Not Wicked, yeah, Wicked and Presents. I went to see Presents with Sharon.
Yeah.
I was going to go and see Wolfman last night, but I had a friend, he had trouble with his cat, so we ended up taking Happy John's cat, Socrates, to the vet.
Ooh, good.
Well, he tells
good
me, he says he calls him Socrates because of Bill and Ted or something.
Yeah.
Yes, that is a Bill and Ted thing. So great.
So
yes.
great. Yeah.
Yes. So yes, Socrates. That's a good cat name. That is a very good. If you said I have a pet and it's called Socrates, I would immediately say that's a cat.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
all right.
It mewed all the way in the car though.
Yeah. So it did what?
It mewed.
Okay, cool.
Meow,
Okay, cool. Oh, for a second, I thought you said pooed.
Yeah, no. Well, it might have done, but if it did, it would have been in its cage thing.
I thought, yeah.
I didn't smell anything, so.
Okay, so is Socrates okay?
Yeah, Socrates is fine. They gave him some tablets, but I think I feel a bit sorry for John because I think it was quite expensive, to go.
Because I'm not really so like I'm not a pet person. I'm not like an animal person, like in the UK way of an animal person. Yeah. So I find that these are the kind of things that you should ask. I'm learning that you should ask things like that. Is the cat okay? Because for some people, they are real big parts of the family.
Well, I think with Happy John, bless him, he's quite an important part of the family because I did take him I think he had a fit and I took him Saturday morning. I took him to the vets first of all, and then we were due to go see Wolfman last night, and ended up taking the cat the second time.
Yeah. I remember I once took a friend's cat to be. This is getting a bit maudlin now.
Yeah. Let's. So that was anyway. So I didn't get to see the Wolfman, I'm afraid, but I did see Presents, and I did see Wicked.
Yeah, for me, it was a toss-up between A Complete Unknown and The Wolfman. So I have seen a Complete Unknown as well. Sharon, what do you think?
I have seen A Complete Unknown and Presents.
Ooh.
The secret screening this week.
And I like this Venn diagram we're making here. And also, Shaun, we know we have Mufasa, the Lion King, which is a holdover from one of the films. Okay, which
have you not reviewed that?
We have not reviewed it yet, Shaun. We keep pushing it back because, as much as I expected,
have to go and see it.
Well, no, that is as much as I think Holly has seen it.
Oh, I see. Well, maybe not then.
Yeah, that is as much as I don't expect much from that film. I don't like to watch a bloodbath, so I keep pushing that back and back. All right, cool. So, and at home, Shaun, you said you've seen a film that I have been hearing a lot about, Strange Darling.
I had some money from Amazon because it's only a rental one, so I had some like credits, and it was did I want to do like Amazon have got a sound thing as well as all that, and I just thought I'd heard good things about Strange Darling, so I decided. And I'm glad.
This is one of those films that disappeared out of cinemas really quickly last year, and I really wanted to see it because I just kept hearing things about it. It's like, oh my god, you won't figure out where it's going. And I've been searching on this app called Just Watch, which tells you where you can watch things online. I've been searching. I have like an alert. It's like, tell me when Strange Darling is available because I've been trying to see where I can find it without having to pay more money.
That's it, right. Really. I mean, I bought a lot of stuff off Amazon over before Christmas, and they sent me this thing and said, "Oh, you have credits,"
All right.
So I don't know. It can't come random. So
I'll check because I'm pretty sure that in my family we should have some credits. Maybe I'll use that for Strange Darling. Yeah. All right, and Sharon, how about you at home?
at home. So I'm just going to shift over so I can plug my phone in because
Oh,
it's
the other thing I did see was Dogman, which I think we pushed back, but I'm not sure if we'll have time to review that. But that was just on normal Amazon,
All right, okay.
and loads of stuff on YouTube.
Yeah, Sean. I feel like each time you mention YouTube, I need to tell you, okay, Sean, good, but be careful with this YouTube thing. You know? Be careful with this YouTube thing. There's all sorts of stuff out there.
I have actually decided to pay premium for it.
Really?
So I don't get
Okay.
the ads, yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. But yeah, but be careful with it. There's essentially double check anything you see on YouTube. But good lord.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, YouTube I could do whole reviews because I've been watching all about the anarchy and Edward the Third, the greatest king of England supposedly, and Napoleon's marshals and mainly lots of history stuff. And I watched the Gold Hunters again with Burt Lancaster, and
Oh yeah.
they have loads of movies. Surprisingly,
Yeah.
old ones, loads and loads on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Oh yeah. Old school films I'm good with, but other random YouTube channels, I think we need some sort of vetting
Don't worry,
process.
I'm not like I don't watch. I seem to get a lot of political stuff, but I tend
Yeah,
not to.
it's the problem is that even when I see something on YouTube that I agree with,
Mm.
even when I see something I agree with, it's kind of like, okay, but where did this come from? It's like you need to do a whole bunch of research to make sure that this person isn't actually just talking out of their bum, because who are they? What's their research? What are their sources?
Exactly.
Where did they get all this stuff from? It's like because there's a lot of people on YouTube who just go on there and just make stuff up.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I totally agree with you. I do tend there is one the best thing I like, it's like History Revisited, is where I mean, it's not political, but they say like if the Hitler's plot had been successful and Hitler, what would, so they go through the whole
Oh,
thing
it's
of
like what
happened,
if?
and then they say what, yeah, so it's like a what if, what do they think, and they've got these two experts and they say, well, I think you'd have got this, it's like, would, if Hitler had been killed, would the Pacific War have carried on like that? Would the atom bomb still be dropped because they might, and they go for all these scenarios, and it's really, really interesting, some of them, and they say, yeah, and basically it would probably turn out the same. So
It's kind of like, you know how Marvel have the cartoon on Disney Plus. What if? It's like,
yeah.
what if the Hulk was a wimp?
Yeah.
And everything like that. All right, cool. So Sharon, at home, what have you seen?
I have seen American Primeval, a
Ooh.
miniseries on Netflix, and I've also seen Back in Action with Cameron Diaz on Netflix too.
Is that Jamie Foxx as well?
Yeah,
Jamie
Jamie
Foxx
Foxx and
and
Cameron
Cameron
It was on the
Diaz.
Diaz,
Yeah.
radio.
yeah,
It was on the radio yesterday on
yeah.
on
They've
the top.
done a lot about it, so I saw that
All right, cool.
came out.
He
All
does a
right.
great he does great impressions, Jamie Foxx. He's
Yeah,
probably,
it does.
Yeah, yeah.
especially Al Pacino.
Oh yeah, from Any Given Sunday.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Now, okay, let us kick off. Let us kick off. We're going to kick off in cinema. We're going to kick off with Presents, and Presents. This is a big question that we had last week because you were going to see a secret screening. Holly was going to see something that Odeon do called Screen Unseen, I believe it is, which is exactly the same thing. And we were like, okay, is it going to be the same film? And I know because Superfan Nina has an Odeon Limitless card, and she was also going to see this, and it is the same film. So when it is the same film. So when Cineworld has like a secret screening and Odeon has a Screen Unseen, same film. So she went to see this, and she went to see it, and I have been being peppered because she saw this. I think this was Monday night, wasn't it?
Yes,
Yeah, it was Monday night.
it's
And
Monday.
today is a Wednesday, was Monday night. And she's been peppering me with text ever since then, going, presents, you gotta go watch it. I need to talk about this. I can't stop thinking about it. So I am intrigued to see what this is all about. Sharon, please tell us what Presents is. Tell us about Presents. Tell us what's going on here.
Okay, Presents is a strange little film, and basically, the story is set. There's an empty house, a big empty house, and when you first come in, the camera tracks from room to room. It's wandering from room to room. It's looking for something. It's lost. It's just looking out the windows. It's just looking around, and then it's sort of the camera then retreats into the sort of closet, and then you become aware that you are seeing through the eyes of this third party. You are looking through the eyes of the presence. Now, you aren't aware of what your existence is in the same way that the presence doesn't really know what it is. And so you see everything through these eyes. You are the presence. And so when this empty house, then a family move in, you are then go to look out the window to see, oh, who's moving in? And then when the estate agent comes, you're looking at the estate agent. And then when the family comes in, you move around. So you're not omnipotent, as in you don't see everything all at once. You are like a single entity. So you can only be in one place at a time. So when there's something going on in the house and you hear something else going on, and it's like, okay, what's going over there? So then you go through the house and you listen to another conversation. And it seems to be bound to the house, because when things are happening outside, they're just like looking through the window, or you are looking through the window. So the whole film is, you are basically, the camera goes where you are looking, where the presence is looking. So you're not actually self-aware about what you are, but you know that you're seeing what they're seeing and you're hearing what they're hearing.
Yeah.
And then
I love the idea of this film.
You understand that there's something going on with this family, that there's a mother and a father and their two teenage children, a son and a daughter. And the daughter's going through a bit of a crisis. She's lost a friend through quite traumatic circumstances, and she's really struggling with grief. And there's something going on with the mum, as in they're not quite sure whether it's sort of, because we don't know, because we don't see everything. We aren't present to all the information. But something's happening with the mum, how there's either it's financial or whether it's sort of like their business, but there's maybe it might be illegal, but there's this concern that there's something going on there. Yeah. So we're witnessing all these events. And as the story unfolds, we can see that there's something sinister is happening, but it's not connected to the presence. We are witnessing it, but we're not instigating it. So instead of having that sense of peril that, actually we're the creepy one, it's like, no, we just don't know what's going on because we aren't aware of ourselves. And so, yeah, you're literally following the events through the eyes of the unknown.
Yeah, so this is Steven Soderbergh, and it's Steven Soderbergh, so you expect that he's going to do something weird, because I think Steven Soderbergh has retired a couple of times now, and he only comes back when something piques his interest. So I'm like, yes, this sounds nice and lovely and weird. It makes me think a bit of like, do you know the old school black and white movie Lady in the Lake? That it's all told from a first person perspective of you're a detective, but all you see is what the detective sees. And a little bit like last year, we had In a Violent Nature, Shaun, that just sort of like followed.
That's it. So, that tracking shot. Yeah.
So
the difference was that you actually saw in a Violent Nature you saw the person, but it just follows. So you are basically seeing it. Yeah.
So okay. Now let's go into the nitty gritty. What did you think of this, Shaun?
Yeah, I mean, it was really, really interesting. Thanks to Sharon for explaining the whole thing to me, which I was, and even Happy John. So I really enjoyed this. I thought this was really, 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 a really, really interesting. Yeah, really interesting. And I mean, I have to say, like our super fan Nina I was thinking about it quite a lot, and I've been thinking about it, and I decided that I really liked this. I thought the acting was, most of them was really good. Not so sure about the brother, but
I was thinking it's probably going to be a kid, isn't it?
Well, they're teenagers. They're teenagers, but really, 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 really interesting concept, and quite clever, I thought. I'm trying to think, because we do not want to give away any spoilers in this. That's no. You need to. People need to go and see this. So the more I thought about it, and when we came outside and we were talking about it, and Sharon explained the whole thing, I was like, oh yeah. So,
okay, you see now because I have been essentially because I get to see an average one film a week. This is pretty much already the film I know I'm going to see next week because Superfan Nina has threatened me and told me that I need to go see this film because she needs to talk about it with somebody. And it's like some of her, because she tends to agree with you out of all of us. She agrees with you the most, Sean. And she says it is very good. I can't stop thinking about it. It's done very well. She's like, she can't stop thinking about how well it's done. And then I got the next day I got a message saying, I can't stop thinking about presents and what it meant. Go see it immediately and speak to me about it. And I think she had a similar thing to you, as in she saw the film and then she came out and she was kind of like, hang on, wait, what does it mean? What does that bit mean? There's a bit in the middle. I might need to go see this again because I wasn't quite sure what happened in the middle. It sounds like it was a bit like what happened with you and with Sharon, where Sharon had to do it. Okay, yeah, it was presents. I almost lost it halfway through. It was like a Hitchcock-esque movie. Can you please go and see it, please? I need to talk to someone about it. It's either incredibly clever or I didn't get it.
Yeah.
so Sharon, what do you reckon? Is it incredibly clever, or is it just that some people just aren't going to get it?
Yes and no. I think because when I first went in there, when it came up as like a 15, these things, and I was like, oh no, I don't want to watch a scary one. This is not supposed to be scary film. This is supposed to be the secret screening, not the screaming. And then I was a bit like tense at the beginning, so I think I was a bit hyper alert, looking for everything. And there's a couple of things that if you noted them early on, it almost like you get some clues. They're like some breadcrumbs. And then a couple of way through, again, there was like a couple of breadcrumbs. I was like, okay, that if you pick up on them, it explains most of the story.
Yeah.
And so at the end of it, it was like, well, yeah, that was, it's through there are hints throughout the story.
Smart. Our Sharon's smart girl.
I think we might need to do like do a Zoom webinar where we have like a presence therapy, where everybody gets together and we just sit there, okay, now everybody sit down and Sharon's going to tell us exactly what you didn't understand. So, all right, cool.
No, I thought it was clever. I thought, again, I was glad that it wasn't. There's the odd moment of peril, but then you begin to think like, actually, no, this is not suddenly going to turn into anything horrific. A poltergeist sort of thing. Yeah. It's sort of, it's like we're trying to find out what's going on, and so we are looking through the eyes of the presence as well. And so we understand there, and then, but yeah, there's a couple of scenes that basically explain the whole film, but you don't know it at the time.
All right. And how many stars would you give it?
What, me? Yeah, I'd give it a very high 3-star. I'd give it a very high 3.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 3 again. Again, I think I give a strong 3 because again, there's a couple of things I picked up on, and I thought, wow, for me, I picked some of those indicators early.
That's it. I would say the same as Sharon. It was really, really good, really clever, really interesting. But yeah, there was a couple of things, but I still give it a strong 3.
But no, it's worth it. It's worth it. Entertaining. I liked it. There's the odd moment of jumpy moments, but nothing that would make you go, "Oh, I'm not watching that." Because some people have said to me, "Oh, it was scary." It's like, no, it wasn't. It was scary there, but you feel a slight bit of uncertainty.
You did jump once though, and I think John
jumped
did
once.
as well.
John did. We both did, but that's not because of anything that. Yeah, that's because.
Okay. No spoilers. Yeah, we did jump I want to go there. I want to go there and jump on my own lonesome without expecting it and not tell anybody that I did. All right, so let us go over to Netflix and friends. And Sean, this is the film we're talking about, Strange Darling.
Yeah, Darling.
Strange Darling. You paid to see this because I'm guessing you've been hearing about this film as well.
Yeah. I was told there was like quite often there's one chap at work which you talk to, and also my landlord, and I thought, oh, it sounds right up my street. It's the sort of film that sounds right up my street. So, and I had some credit type thing from Amazon, so I decided I could have got other stuff, but I just decided, from
everything I've heard, you made a good decision. So what I know about this film so far is that it's about a man and a woman have an encounter, like a one night stand, and then and from what I hear, that's the last normal thing in the film.
Yeah. So basically, what happens is these two people meet, and they're having a chat, sat outside thing, deciding whether they're going to have sex or not that evening. And there's a mention that, you're not a serial killer, are you? And all that, you know what I mean? Let's talk about that. And they're into a little bit of like, they want a little bit of kinky sex. And then it's one of these ones. It's a bit like it's sort of chops a bit. And the next thing you see in the morning is the woman is running away. She's all cut up and she's all bleeding, and the guy's chasing her with a shotgun. And so basically it's like a little bit of a feisty type thing. As I don't want to give away again. I know. I just want to say that I'd love to say exactly what it is, but I mean.
No, but then everything I've heard about this film, right? Everything I've heard about this film has said that that's about all you can tell me. That's
basically all I can say.
Everything I've heard about that film is telling me that's about all you can tell me. Yeah. Because after that, anything else you say is like a spoiler.
But that's it. So anyway, you see, I mean, so it's like a chase thing and then there's like things that happen with a car. People stopping in a car. There's the motel scene, and there's a few other things and that, and then it is really, really interesting. I've really, really enjoyed it. It's a bit bloody, a bit violent. Like I would say, it's mega violent. I didn't have too many issues with it. Maybe a couple, which I thought I was a bit odd with. But most of it was realistic, and it's amazing how people can be a little bit like the in Presence. It's amazing how people can be really, really manipulative and play on people, playing people, oh, help me sort of thing. And so, but no, I'm so glad I saw this film. I really, really enjoyed it.
So you think it lives up to the hype?
It lives up to the hype, yeah. It's my sort of movie. As I say, it's a bit I mean, it'd be lovely when we'd be able to do ones which we can be spoilers if we ever do that. We can do spoilers.
Well, I think this film sounds like it's a kind of film that is ripe for that kind of spoilery thing, like and to be honest, Presence as well.
Yeah. He's an easy spoiler, but let's just say it's quite violent. But and with people that are very clever at manipulating other people and getting assistance, and not I'm just a scene just come in my head then, but I cannot say what it is.
Okay.
I'm just going to say, there's one bit I suppose I can say that it's like a farmhouse scene first of all, where she goes, help me, and this guy's chasing her like.
Yeah, I keep hearing that that's the basic thing. Have a one night stand. Somebody's chasing somebody, but it's not exactly what you think. It's not exactly what you think, and the film keeps. I hear that it keeps subverting your expectations. Like you expect this was I've seen loads of films and this is what usually happens. Oh no, that's not what happened.
Yeah. This film was one of the ones which was right up my street. Right, it sort of tick the boxes for me on this one. I enjoyed it, and as I say, but be warned, it is very, 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 very quite violent. As in the and there's a lot of gore and red stuff.
So how many stars would you give this one?
Oh right, okay. Well, I'm going to give this one. It's a toughie. It was going to be. I'm going to have to give this one a 4, I think, because the more I think about it, the more the scenes. I was going to say a 3. But I'm thinking of the scenes in my head now, and I'm going to have to give this one a 4, I think, just purely for the fact of enjoyment factor.
Good stuff.
Should have been at the cinema.
You should have seen it at the cinema. Yeah, I think a lot of people have said that. That is one of the things I should see in the cinema. But unfortunately, it was one of those ones that did not have a big release. It did not have a wide release. But I reckon that it's going to be a future cult classic that you can probably catch a special screening of. The King Charles Cinema in Leicester Square or something like that.
Somewhere like that, yeah. That's
all right, so 4 stars for Strange Darling. And now we go back to cinema and we are going to talk A Complete Unknown. And this is, I'll explain this. So this is essentially the Bob Dylan film starring Timothy Chalamet. So I went into this. I Bob Dylan is one of those names that I hear about. I hear about Bob Dylan. People tell me, "Oh yeah, Bob Dylan's amazing," but I don't particularly subscribe. I don't particularly see it. I don't particularly go. I don't. There's nothing about it. There's nothing about it that's made me go, "Oh my god, I've got to buy every one of his 55 albums and I've got to go on a listening journey." There's nothing like that that makes me go. I know a couple of songs that I probably hear about because other people sung them, and like "Feel My Love" by Adele and all that. So I was going into this film blind because I knew nothing about Bob Dylan. And so the film kicks off and you have Bob Dylan as played by Timothée Chalamet arriving in New York, and he sort of arrives in sort of like a proper troubadour style with just like a guitar in a case and no money in his pocket, nowhere to stay and everything like that. But he hears about the Greenwich Village and he wants to go be part of the folk scene. So he goes to see Woody Guthrie, and by this time Woody Guthrie is in hospital because it looks like he's suffered a stroke. So Woody Guthrie, played by by Scoot McNairy, and he has Pete Seeger, who is there in hospital with Woody Guthrie because they're friends, played by Edward Norton. And it becomes this whole thing about how Bob Dylan is taking over Pete Seeger's wings and how he goes into the folk scene and how he gets bigger and bigger and bigger as a star, and leading all up the way up to the controversial bit where Dylan goes electric, which I hear about this thing where Dylan went electric and apparently it was a big deal. And what this film does is that it's not like a music biopic, and I really enjoyed this. I mean, these are two music biopics that we've seen recently, like Better Man with Robbie Williams, where you had a chimp playing Robbie Williams, which just sort of transcended what most music biopics do. And this one as well, I think, because it isn't really about. This film isn't really about Bob Dylan becoming big and then going to drugs and all that kind of stuff. This film is really about, I think it's more about the fight between people who were trying to keep something that they saw as pure, be it the folk music and keep folk music, and people who were like, no, we should go progressive. Things are going to change. We need to change with them. And the film is about that, and it just so happens that Bob Dylan's at the center of this whole thing. And as someone who knew nothing about Bob Dylan, I really enjoyed this film. Sharon, what did you think?
No, see, I do know Bob Dylan, and I like his early stuff, the pre-electric stuff. So yeah. This is
so you were the kind of person who was like, how dare he go electric?
Absolutely, yeah. Even though before my time, to use that sort of cliche, but yeah. when I think of Bob Dylan, I'm thinking freewheeling Bob Dylan, and I'm thinking his early stuff, because that's completely my folk. That's where I live in my sort of musical world is folk, acoustic, that sort of stuff. And so to me, I would be, if I was at the Newport Folk Festival in 1964 and I'd heard him sing Times They Are Changing, and then a year later go back thinking, yeah, that was amazing, I'm going to go back and see Bob Dylan, and then he comes out and goes like, meow, I would just be like, so I can understand completely why people are throwing things at the stage, because I would be one of those people going, no, this is not why we are here,
Judas.
But you can understand how it's like that. The folk revival meets the British invasion, and how some can resist that British invasion. They were like going, no, we want to keep our traditions alive. And he was like, music is about progression. It's about developing your style. And like, I can understand people like Pete Seeger, who was like, this is their passion. And it's like, when he obviously found that folk music, like, I found my home. Why would I need to move? I'm home. Whereas Bob Dylan, you get the feeling that he is a true troubadour in that with music as well. It's like, he moves into this room and it's like, yeah, this is amazing. I can express myself. I can really feel it.
Yeah.
But then that's thinking, actually, I don't live here. I want to move into this room, and this room is going to be loud, and it's going to be electric, and it's going to be bright, and it's going to be brash. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to move to this room now. And then I think throughout his musical life, he's like moved around his house. He's like, the music is a house, and he's like moved from room to room to room. Whereas some people, it's like one room is like enough. That like satisfies all their needs. So I can understand how he's like this true troubadour, how he travels, and he travels musically, and he has different influences. But for someone who, I have those different rooms as well, but folk is like the biggest room in my house. And then I've got small rooms for reggae, small rooms for this, and small rooms for that. But like the big room is the folk.
Oh, Dylan does reggae. Oh,
Yeah,
that would
just
that would have
that'd
been
be fun.
that would have been
interesting, guys. How do his contemporaries sort of deal with it? Because that's always an interesting thing. Because I mean, you were telling me, Sharon,
Well,
about Joan Baez and how
yeah,
does Pete,
Oh yeah, yeah, because
how does Pete Seeger deal with
yeah,
it? Are they
and
anti
I
him?
think
some of them must
and,
have felt betrayed, but yeah.
yeah, and I think that is the good thing about this film. I wouldn't say genius, but it's the clever thing that this film does. This film is really not. It's not really about him. It's about how everybody reacts to that,
Gotcha.
and how all these relationships that he's built, like Joan Baez and Pete Seeger, and to an extent Woody Guthrie,
His girlfriend and Woody Guthrie, yeah.
yeah,
But they used the
and
music
Johnny
really
Cash.
well, I
Johnny
think.
Cash shows up as
Johnny Cash.
well. Yeah.
But I thought they used the music well. It did actually participate in the story. Like some of the songs they're singing,
Yes.
it
Yeah.
speaks directly into that relationship. And when that last scene with Woody Guthrie, you can understand how it's almost like saying thank you for the music, and he's sort of like moving on.
Yeah.
There's some really good use.
I thought this was very well done, because sometimes with music biopics you can feel, and maybe if I knew the songs better, I might feel like, oh yeah, obviously they're playing this song, obviously they're putting this in.
Yeah.
But it was a similar thing to Better Man. I thought that the way they used the music was very, very well done.
Yeah.
It was very.
I'd probably say I knew 90% of the songs in it.
Yeah.
And I was really pleased because they sang my favorite Pete Seeger song, they sang my favorite Joan Baez song, and they had my 3 favorite Dylan songs were sung in this film. So I was just like, I had to stop myself singing along for some of them because I was like, oh, I love this Joan Baez song.
Yeah, but I think that the film is really good.
Well.
Yeah, I think it's really good at explaining the different problems and why this would be a big problem. Because if you just showed Dylan. Like, let's say you just took the scene where Dylan's playing at the Newport Folk Festival in 1965. If you just showed that scene, you'd be like, "What's the big deal?" Because to today's ears, it's like there's nothing major about that. I think the film does a really good job of explaining why that was a big deal, and essentially
the whole folk revival thing. Because before in the 50s, folk didn't exist. It was very niche. It was like only you'd hear it in folk clubs in the odd pub, in like a West Country pub in this country. And then folk revival came, and literally folk became like acceptable again. It became mainstream in many ways. And then he was like the face of folk. So when you can understand the face of folk suddenly going, you know what, moved on from you.
Yeah,
the folk was going like, what?
Yeah, and there's a speech that Edward Norton has, the teaspoon speech that he has.
Yeah.
That I love that speech. I think whether that actually came from real life or whether somebody wrote that, I think that's a brilliant piece of writing that just sort of like sums up, this is the nub of the film. This is why this matters. And I think that the performances are really good. Like the thing you said about Dylan just following. Oh, where's the music? Where's the music? Oh, what's the? And they do that really well because he has a couple of relationships in this with Joan Baez and with a character who is fictional but very lightly is a lightly fictionalized version of a real life character from all the reading I've done, because this is the kind of film that's made me go and do a whole bunch of research. And the relationships that he has with them, you still have this whole thing where in the middle of all this, no, Dylan's main relationship is the music, and he almost cannot help himself. And the things that he does that sometimes are quite mean. They're quite mean. They're quite they're not good to people in his relationships with. It's not that he's trying to be mean. It's that he just has his bigger thing is to the music, and sometimes it's almost as if he feels like, if I treat you this way, it gives me more. It gets the music flowing. It gets the music juices flowing. So I thought it was really good for someone who knew nothing about Dylan. I'll give this a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I'd give it a 4 out of 5 as someone who was like, yeah, before he went electric, yeah, I'm all over that. So this is like the pivotal moment, yeah, for me, as a good sort of, yeah, I thought really rated it. I thought it was really good. So yeah, I definitely give it a 4.
Yeah. Oh, I'll say one thing though. One thing is the guy who plays Johnny Cash. Sean, are you going to see this?
Possibly. I don't know. I might do. Okay. I mean, I've quite liked it, but I haven't seen Another Man either. So
Better Man.
I'm really slipping. My crown is slipping. I'm gonna make a concerted effort. But there has been a lot of things going on. So.
Okay, yeah, I can imagine. Well, the thing is, the guy who plays Johnny Cash, he's a well-known actor. But I spent the entire film trying to figure out who it was that was playing Johnny Cash. I spent the entire film looking at him going, who is that guy? It looks a bit
With that,
familiar.
yeah.
It looks a bit familiar, but I don't really know who that is. And then at the end, when his name pops up on screen, I'm like, what? Oh my god, it's him! It's him! Oh, it is him! But anyway, yeah, I thought that it's the most different I've ever seen him look, but it's quite good. Although no, never mind. Moving on. And now we're gonna go back over to Netflix and Friends, and we're gonna talk American Primeval. Now, Sharon, you have seen the entire season of American Primeval.
Yes.
Sean, you have seen the first 3 episodes or so.
Yes.
So we're gonna say, Sharon, take it away, and then. And obviously, no spoilers for Sean. But let's see if Sean can tell us what he's thought about the first 3 episodes. But Sharon, first of all, tell us about this.
Okay, yeah. American Primeval is set in the American Northwest, sort of Utah into sort of North Wyoming, and it's that Northwest part area of America. And this is set in 1850s, so before the American Civil War, before the West is completely opened out. It's when it's still very much tribal lands, and very much that the settlers are very much aliens in that environment. And there's conflicts between different peoples. There's conflicts between the indigenous peoples. A lot of the Mormons who have been driven west are like trying to fight for their position. And then you've got the army, and then you've got the old like mountain men who've been there for a long time, who like have coexisted with this sort of the indigenous peoples. So you've got this sort of conflict there. And in all this, you drop this one woman who's there with her a young son. I don't think he's quite teenage yet, but he's like a young boy. And they're arrived at the end of the line. Literally, they got off the train, and that's the train ends. The rail ends. They haven't finished building
anything else.
The railway, so they literally are end of line, and they're expecting a guide to take them across sort of the mountains to where there's an established town. So they play for this guide, and then she thinks it's just going to be a simple matter of, okay, I've got off the train. I'll get on a horse. You'll just ride there, easy, just like back east. And it's like she's in a different world. She's in a different century when she suddenly is dropped into this wilderness, basically. And she starts off with her guide, and then something goes awry, and she ends up having to join a wagon train. And then she joins this wagon train, and then things go awry there. And so you see this story mainly through her eyes. But while she's on her journey, she encounters these other people, and their story gets drawn into hers. And so it then sort of diverges, and then it all comes together again towards the end. But where it sort of diverges, you follow these different sort of points of view. You've got this woman who's we find out as the story goes on what she's fleeing from and what she's heading to. And then the people she encounters, they're sort of going through a state of like trying to self-awareness almost. They're becoming aware of their environments, aware of the issues involving the indigenous peoples, and they're aware of the conflict between the Mormons, the army, and the mountain men, as it were, who've been there for a long time. And so it's brutal. It's primeval in that it sort of the civilization is like stripped away. They're saying when you move into this environment, you basically leave everything that you've known behind. You're moving into sort of, wilderness, untamed territory, the primeval, because it is savage and it is brutal and it is uncivilized. So you see this. They've stripped some of the glamour away from like that, the myth, some of the myths of the West, to expose it in all its sort of grim, dirty, bloody violence. Sort of,
some nasty people in it. Some nasty,
because
nasty people.
grim and violent are 2 words I keep hearing about this show. And with
and the violence, some of it is something that's very sudden, and some of it is like very violent, very quickly. So like some people, there's a couple of shootings in it, and instead of it being like they heard, hey, we're sort of standing off against each other and drawing your guns and like a fair fight of fisticuffs in the old style, it's like while someone's not looking, they're suddenly like they are shot, and it goes from like 0 to 60 in violent terms. Without much warning.
Sharon recommended this to me. She said she'd be interested for me to see it. So I quite
so far, what do you reckon, Sean?
There's a slight historical aspect to it with Jim Bridger, because Jim Bridger is an actual real character that was, in fact, he was pretty damn amazing, really, how he started out and what he did and what he accomplished. So, and he's formed like this I really like the scene. I did think though, Sharon, and I'm sorry to say this, those arrows were remarkably fast, and I'm sure
Oh,
they
they were.
don't go.
They're like
They're
rocket
like,
propelled
yeah,
arrows.
and like you say, that jump bit where you've got the ladies talking, and it's like that. I found that I thought, those arrows were flying a bit too thick and fast for my liking, and whizzing at like 5,000 miles an hour, and and they were incredibly lucky as well. But don't get me wrong, I'm not saying
No. But
it's
you
quite
have to look at
enjoyable, the
these
story
things.
itself.
Yeah.
And it's very brutal. So I could give you. I need to see the whole thing through. So I will be continue. It's not like I'm not.
Okay. Yeah. You're not bored so far.
I'm not bored. No, I'm not bored with it. But I do got. But I think that's probably, like Sharon said, done for 0 to 60. She nailed it. It just goes. It's for, because I mean that is a big that scene I'm talking about. When the first arrow sort of appears, it's like, well, that come out of nowhere, and then it's just mayhem. So I quite like that. Being on that.
Yeah, because apparently this is written by the same guy who wrote The Revenant.
The Revenant. Yeah, you can see, you can actually see, because especially the scout guy that he looks just like Tom Hardy.
Or like the trappers.
Well, okay, that's it. Yeah.
Okay, so with that big of with me, anything that has to do with this whole thing and like the formation of America and Australia, it hits all my colonial buttons, and I start going, well, does it focus on the Native Americans? But I'm not even going to ask any about that. I just want to 2 questions. How many stars would you give it?
What me? I'm based on the 3 episodes.
No, Sharon, because Sharon's seen the whole thing.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
I'd probably give it a 4 because it kept me going all the way to the end. I sort of went. Sometimes you watch 2 or 3 and you're going, you know what? Shall I watch the rest? Because I was like, okay, I'm watching it. I was like, jum. So I literally watched the whole thing over like 2-3 days.
Sharon recommended it, and I did try to get it in, Sharon. I did try to. You remember you said to me, I don't know if you.
Yeah, I knew you were going to watch the whole thing, but I was like, I said to him on Monday, only Monday, I was like, check this out, because I think there's nothing here that you'd be interested in about this.
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed Jim Bridger. I loved him as a character.
All right, so okay, Shaun, you can watch it and let us know what you thought, like in a report back next week. And the other thing is, when you were talking about how brutal it was and everything like that, some of the things you were saying reminded me of the English. So, you remember the English with Emily Blunt?
I do. Yeah. I remember the English. Yeah,
and was it Chesky Spencer? Yeah. So, which one's more brutal, the English or this?
This, I think, Sharon. Would you say?
It is more brutal. Yeah.
This is more brutal because let's just say there's some. Well, I mean, Indians are going to do it. Well, anybody's going to do it anyway. There's some sort of scalping that goes on. So,
all right, okay, cool. So that's 4 stars for American Primeval. A show that I'm probably never going to watch. But let's go over to go back to cinema. And we've put it up for about 3 weeks. It is time for what I expect is going to be a little bit of a kicking.
Mufasa.
Sure, tell us about Mufasa, the Lion King.
Mufasa, Lion King. You want me to? Oh, sorry. Do you want to start, Sharon? Have you seen it?
Oh no, I haven't seen it. I'm not seeing it.
Sharon hasn't seen it. Sharon used all of her computer-generated credits up on Sonic the Hedgehog. She was not watching this.
Okay.
She doesn't care how real they look. What was that, Sharon? Sorry?
I said I'm not going to see anything below a 15 for about 4 years.
All right, cool. So, Shaun, fire away.
Okay, so bearing in mind, I've never seen The Lion King, so and so this story, I'm assuming, is the Lion King's father. Is that? Yeah.
It is. It's Simba's father. So Mufasa he's the king at the beginning of the Lion King.
So so basically, it's his story. He gets taken away in a flood and disappears, and then joins another what they call pride, doesn't it? Joins another pride sort of thing where the male lions are not particularly keen about it, but he gets taken anyway. And then it's a story of them sort of growing up and different relationships, and they go off on an adventure. The trouble I had with this one, Tos.
Yes, get straight to the trouble. We don't need the plot. Go.
Okay. I really didn't know the characters, and I actually got a little bit confused sometimes with who was who. I was like,
it's a lion. It's another lion.
I know. Yeah. So they were like with Scar and and Mufasa. You know, it was a case of sometimes I got them, and I was like, "Come on, Shaun, get your head around it." Bearing in mind, I saw this over Christmas with my niece and her fella.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a kids' film, but I got a bit confused by I was like, yeah, okay. But I did pick it up in the end, so I wouldn't say I was particularly enthralled with it. To be fair, I wasn't.
Yeah.
You've seen it, have you, Toe?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, you haven't seen it either. Right,
yeah,
it must be Holly that's seen it. I thought you.
Yeah, no. Holly has seen it. Holly has seen it.
Oh, right. Okay. It'd be interesting to see what she thinks.
She already gave like a one-word review, and it was like rubbish. But
oh, right. Okay. Oh, that's good. Then I'm not going to feel so bad now because I would hate to hurt Holly's feelings.
But okay. I'll tell you one thing. I'm a big Disney fan, right? I'm a big Disney fan. The original Lion King, made in 1994, was big. It was seminal. It was big for us. I remember me and my friends grew up in Nigeria. Loved that thing. Learned all the songs, everything like that. Thought the recent Lion King with the sort of CGI thing that's done in the same way that this is done, I thought it was stupid. I thought it was stupid, and I thought that they missed a trick, and they should have made it like a David Attenborough documentary instead of trying to just go shot for shot the original film. And when they announced this film, the fact that I haven't watched this film and I'm a big Disney head, I just thought this is a cynical cash grab. There's good people involved. The guy who directed it, Barry Jenkins, he's done good stuff. He's done Moonlight, If Beale Street Could Talk, The Underground Railroad. He's done all these different things. But with this, I'm like, but he's going to get drowned out by the cynical cash grab of Disney, who just want some way of extending this thing because they want to get another film that has a chance of making $1 billion at the box office. And they don't care what they have to do to get that. They don't care how they're going to butcher the story, butcher the characters. So I am predisposed to not like this film because I do not think that this one should exist. But so I'm the biggest Disney head here, I think.
Yeah.
So Shaun, nothing you can say will insult me because Disney have already done it by making this film.
That's good. Yeah. So I mean, I'm aware of those characters. What are the two little Mumi and Pumbaa are they, or what they called?
Timon and Pumbaa.
Timon and Pumbaa, and they're sort of because basically and the old baboony things telling them the whole story.
Rafiki.
Rafiki, yeah. So he's in it, and it's I don't know, Toes. It's I don't know what I don't know what it's trying to be. I really don't know what it's trying to be.
I don't think they know either.
I think you nailed it, and it is a cash grab, just purely playing on the heartstrings of probably people who are well invested in the Lion King. And I asked my niece. I mean, bearing in mind she's what 27, something like that, 27, 28.
Yep.
She said, "Well, it was all right. It was all right." So, and you know, she's like a big major Lion King fan. You know what I mean? She was like major Lion King fan. So
yeah.
And her fella was like, I went, "What did you think?" He just went, meh. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah. No, not a good experience.
Not the words, but not in a good way.
Yeah. No, so
it's I feel about this film the same way I feel about Blues Brothers 2000. I mean,
yeah. See, I haven't seen that.
I have not seen Blues Brothers 2000. I don't think I ever will see Blues Brothers 2000 because I'm like, why?
Yeah, exactly. And I wouldn't bother too much about this one either, then, Toes, because it's a little bit all over the place and it's a little bit struggy. You know, it's got all the themes in, and you nailed it. It's exactly a crash grab, and yeah, no, I didn't enjoy this. Very, very confused. And so I'm afraid, sorry everybody, if you're invested in The Lion King, it's 2 stars.
Cool, no problem. Shaun, I'm not even disappointed. I'm not even disappointed because what you said, it has just met my expectations. That's exactly what I was expecting to happen. Because, I mean, the second I heard this, I was like, oh, for goodness sake. But yeah, anyway, I will stop complaining about a film I haven't even watched and go over to Netflix and let's talk back in action. Jamie Foxx, Cameron Diaz making a film for the first time in 10 years on Netflix. And I think, well, okay, not to try and review this film before you actually say anything, Sharon, but I think that's enough reason for this film to exist. We have Cameron Diaz back on screen, and therefore I don't really care if it's any good. But you tell us about this film. Tell us what.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested in this one.
Yeah, it's the story. They are a two CIA agents who've been working together. They've gone undercover, working an operation in London, trying to foil some international terrorism. There's this thing, this sort of like a gadgety thing that does amazing things.
MacGuffin! There's a
Yes, it's a
MacGuffin!
wonderful and terrible thing. And things happen, and they basically decide that they're a plane that they're on, they think they've been betrayed, crashes, and then they decide to, you know what, let's just not go back to our lives, let's just find a new life, because they've started their own relationship and they've discovered that she's pregnant. So they're like going, you know what, we've got a good way out. The plane has crashed, you know, the bad guys have gone, we don't know who betrayed us, but should we just not go back? So they then form this their own life. And then 15 years later, they've been married for 15 years. They've got 2 teenage children. Daughter's acting out a little bit. The young boy's, you know, sort of, who's just young and sweet, but he's coming towards those teenage years. And they've been living there. He like coaches the football team, as in the football,
American football thing. Yeah.
No, soccer team. He's like coaching the
proper football.
Proper football, yeah. And I don't know what she does. She sells stuff on Etsy. So they've got their life. And then suddenly their past comes into, is there, presents itself again. Gunshot, you know, madness ensues, and they have to flee with their 2 children to Britain to, you know, sort things out with their thing, that thing. Yeah. And then chaos ensues. And you see them tearing around London. Glenn Close pops up with an awful British accent. And then like they basically have a bit of a blast. Kicking, fighting, jumping and shooting and stuff. So I get the feeling, they probably had a lot of fun doing this film. And I would say it's fun is the word that comes to mind. Believability, no, that doesn't come to mind. Peril, no, there's no peril in this film. Do we know that they're going to get there in the end? Yes, we know that exactly. We know, and are they going to
spoiler, Sharon?
That problematic relationship with the daughter, is that going to be reconciled by the end of the film? Yes. But it is fun. It is.
I might not watch this film now. You just told me everything.
So forget the plot. That's not what it's about. It's about Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz having a laugh. Yes. And you can see how their 2 teenage children, when they're sort of like start singing along to like Salt and Pepper or something, you know, how they're like deeply cringing, and it's like that's what you want. You want to see them sort of doing what they do, having a real ball of a time, and then the rest of it is all incidental. So if that's what you want, is like them having fun, it delivers. I mean, if you're going to look at it critically, it's like, is it a great action film? Not really. Is it a great story? Not really. But do they have fun? Do you have fun watching it? Yes.
I think.
Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, I think with Jamie Foxx, you do get. I mean, he's really good at. I don't know. He's just, to me, I rate Jamie Foxx really high. I enjoy him in most things. Most of the things he's in, I enjoy it. Even if it's serious or
he's an old school movie star.
He is a proper movie star. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
And there are some running gags through it, like how all the girls all the women, they sort of go to Jamie Foxx and go like, oh. Yeah. And then the other men around about, like going, oh, he's actually not that. He's not that great. And then all the women are going, no, he is.
That's how I would be. That's how I would be if Jamie Foxx was here. I'd be like, he ain't that great. He ain't all that.
Yeah, he do a great impression of everybody.
Like, there he is.
I know it's a bit different. Have you ever seen that clip? And it's on YouTube where he's talking with Denzel Washington, and he does Denzel Washington. It is the funniest thing, man. Check that out. It is the funniest thing. Denzel.
And also, I'm not sure, and Sean, I'm not sure if you noticed this, but have you realized that this film with Cameron Diaz and Jamie Foxx is an Any Given Sunday reunion?
Yes, yeah. Well, I saw. Funny enough, they were on Radio 2. There's this. We do this quiz. Funny enough, the guy who was telling me about
Strange Darling,
and we listen if I possibly can. 10:30, I get there, listen to 10 to the top, and they've just happened to be on there talking about the movie, and both of them were hilarious. You could see them together, and you could just hear on the radio the fun they were having, you know. And he does Al Pacino and some other impressions. He's Jamie Foxx is a class act, man.
He really is.
I would probably summarise my overview of it is, I think it's a lot of fun. I get the feeling from their chemistry, they're good pals. You don't really see them as a romantic couple, but you see that they have a lot of fun together and they love each other, but in a sort of like they're like in a best pal sort of way.
Yeah,
so if I would say any criticism, I'd say it did for me lack a little bit of chemistry in terms of like believing that they were actually
a couple,
married with children. But it was a fun ride. So I probably couldn't give it any more than a 3, but it was a ride, and you get to watch it.
Well, it's a bit like the film Ticket to Paradise with George Clooney and Julia Roberts, and that's a film that it's kind of like the old school film where they went. You know when you used to have films that you have a poster and it would just say Clooney, Roberts, and that's what you need. It's like it's like, what's the film about? We don't care. it's like Clooney, Roberts. What's the film about? We just said Clooney, Roberts. What's wrong with you? With this, it's like Foxx, Diaz.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, it is. You're right. It is old stardom, and it's like with the Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. You know what I mean? You know what you're going to get.
Exactly. Who cared what the film was? I mean, most people probably couldn't tell you the different plots of the different films they were in. But it was Astaire and Rogers.
I mean, I think I would probably like to see this. I'd probably enjoy this because I did like Bad Boys, and even though it's ridiculous, it's still it's meant to be ridiculous. Not like Fast and Furious where they think it's.
Please don't.
And there are laughs. Sure. It's fun. Just go for the ride. It's fun.
Yeah, good.
Sure. We were having a good time. I had to bring up Fast and Furious.
Oh, sorry, man.
We were having a good time. So because there's quite a few films like this. Like there's The Family Plan with Mark Wahlberg. Yeah. This sort of like family spy movie is becoming its own subgenre, especially with streamers. And each streamer seems to have them because good Lord, there's The Family Plan with Mark Wahlberg. There's one with Kaley Cuoco and David Oyelowo, which is on Prime. I can't remember what it's called, but it's very similar. Where she used to be an assassin and everything like that. I was supposed to, and then it comes, but she now has a family, and then she gets pulled back. It's called role play. Yeah.
Role play.
But it seems to become a subgenre, especially with streamers, where they all have their own sort of like family action movie where the parents get pulled back in and everything like that. But anyway, you've already given it the stars. All I need to ask is, who do you think has won this week?
Cinema, yeah.
You think cinema?
You gave it 2.
Oh, did I? Oh no, not cinema.
Mufasa was 2.
not cinema. Yeah, I tried to forget Mufasa. Yeah, no.
Actually, maybe it must be cinema. But no, we had 4 balls for. I'm just going to go cinema.
I'll go a draw because I don't know why.
Okay, you are both wrong. It was Netflix this week. The Tool did whole cinema below the waterline. But to tell you something, Mufasa got given a 2, but overall, cinema still scored a 3. Overall.
Wow. Oh, that's okay then.
Which makes you think that Mufasa was just like an outlier, and the other 2 were actually really good.
Yeah.
And Netflix had a 4, a 4, and a 3, so we had a 3.6. So that is it for this week. Join us next week when hopefully we'll have Holly back. She shall talk about Maria and Baby Girl because we're still going through a backlog of awards contenders things. Yeah. And I will have to have gone to see Presents because if not, Superfan Nina will find me.
Hopefully we'll have seen Wolfman by then. And
Wolfman, I'd like to see Wolfman.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, perhaps we'll arrange it.
I'll tell you what. Let's see if we can find. I got
a secret screening next week as well. So.
Ooh. All right.
What that'll be some weird stuff. I expect.
I'll tell you what. Okay, let's see if we can find some time after I've seen Presents. We'll get Superfan Nina on. We'll find a time when she can make it. We'll get all together and we can talk it out. And Sharon can tell us exactly how stupid we all are because we don't get it.
Yeah, she's smart. Sharon's the smart one of us all.
So until next week when we do that, it's a goodbye from me.
It's a goodbye from me.
And it's a goodbye from me.
Thank you for joining us.
Check out Denzel Jamie Foxx.
I will do. I'll have a look at that.
It's funny. It is so funny, man.